Well guys, it's me again. I'm here with another customer from LPG.ie and he's just going to introduce himself and tell us a little bit about how he found LPG and how his vehicle, his beautiful supercharged Range Rover, is getting on.
Yes, indeed, this car is 400 horsepower, doing 13-14 miles per gallon on petrol. Now it's doing 12 on gas, and I have a saving of approximately 40% and no loss whatsoever in power. I'm delighted with the conversion. Absolutely no problem with it at all. I have about 6,000-7,000 miles on the car since I did the conversion with no problems. So I couldn't say enough good things about LPG. I'm delighted with it.
That's brilliant. And you actually had LPG before in another vehicle?
Yes, indeed. I'd be a fan of LPG, but 30 years ago I had an old Range Rover that had a carburettor, which would be it was a cruder version of a vehicle, but the gas conversion still worked. Paddy Lumley in Crumlin did the conversion for me all those years ago, and there was a couple of problems with it. It was just a pipe going direct to the carburettor, and it was prone to the odd backfire. The tank we had at the time was a bit small as well, and you were getting fuel every second day. I didn't mind that because there was in those days there was lots of fuel stations.
All right.
Those were the two downsides to it, but now with electronic ignition and all that good stuff, and the larger tanks, range is not a problem. I can get, on country driving, I can get close to 300 miles on a tank of gas. And remember, you still have 100 litres of petrol in this thing if you need it. So yeah, it's
so you got basically double now.
If you're looking for a downside, you lose 30% of your boot space. But then if you have a good sized boot,
like you do in there.
Yeah, and you know how many boots are full of stuff. Like really, I mean, I still have plenty. You just pack stuff a little neater and take a little more care. And that
makes a lot of sense. And
yeah.
How did you find out about LPG.ie? How did you find out about VTEC and the crew here?
I googled it.
You
Googled
it?
Gas conversions.
Wow. Okay.
Because I was thinking about it and wondering about it, and had it ever moved on, and a lot of years had gone by, and when I got talking to VTEC here on the telephone, he convinced me to come down and see his setup. And I have to say, as an organisation, I know they're not a big organisation, but they're super efficient and a pleasure to have service done.
That's a beautiful thing to say. And
it is, yeah. They're really professional. They have a clean workshop. They do what they say they're going to do. They charge what they say they're going to charge, and that's the end of it. There's no messing here. That's
brilliant. I think that's what we need as customers is to make sure that we have a place that's reliable and solid. That's not just going to disappear overnight. You know, that you have somewhere that can come back to and who can answer questions if you do have any issues.
Yeah, and they're not guys to go home at 5 o'clock in the evening. I mean, you can send them a text at 8 o'clock at night or whatever. It doesn't. They'll respond to you. You know.
No, that's very good. And you know, I mean, in fairness, the kit obviously that you have now is probably like the fourth and fifth generation, as opposed to probably just the first generation. So as you said, it has progressed quite a lot. There's a lot more sensors in this particular car, so fuel efficiency is a lot better than what you would have had. Was there any concerns that you had prior to getting the new conversion?
No, I did research it now, and by sheer coincidence, I was watching Fifth Gear one night, and they did a crash scenario with LPG.
Okay.
And they also gave a little spiel about it and said about the taxis in Hong Kong were using it, you know, in a lot of numbers. 80-90% of all taxis were using gas. That certainly alleviated any fears I had, and I suppose I have an understanding of electronic ignitions and engine management systems to some degree, and the fact that they do fit their own ECU and their own separate injectors. I mean, it's a separate but dual fueling system really, so it's as good as the petrol system, and it can work alongside it and switch in and out. So it's relatively simple now if you ignore the complications.
Like it's small brainless, you just turn the car on and away you go.
That's it. You don't know it's on gas, you can't tell. There's certainly no power difference.
Which is brilliant.
Starts on petrol when it's cold in the morning, and after, in my case, 2.5 kilometres, you see it switching to gas. You don't feel it, you see the light changing on the...
And you know, now I'm burning less fuel and I'm saving the environment.
That's it. And why not do it if you can do it?
So you can definitely recommend to your friends and family LPG?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, and people that I have told about it are looking at it, and you know, there's a renewed interest in it, you know, because the cost of fuel and the cost of diesel, and these new diesel cars are far from trouble-free with these fancy catalytic converters and filters, and they're not all what they say they are in terms
Correct.
of.
Absolutely.
Like, you take this car in diesel, and my friend has one of these in diesel, and it goes about 4 to 5 miles per gallon more than this would on petrol.
Right.
On diesel, but it's a lot more troublesome.
And it's an awful lot dirtier fuel.
And
You're the
it's a
second
dirtier
person
fuel.
today actually who's spoken in relation to diesel, and in particular, like the shall we say, the dirt and the not.
Yeah.
It's a Boxer engine came in today, Subaru, and it actually had 2 or 3 times the filter. It was only, I think it was 2009 or 2010. The filter had to be replaced because it even though it was driven, in order to clean the filter, the car needed to be driven at high speed, but the revs had to be about 3,000 RPM in order for it to clean it. And they just keep getting all clogged up full of nasty enough. Whereas the petrol, you're good to go all the time.
Yeah, and you know, from pollution point of view in city driving, diesel cars, the diesel particles, I mean, it's pretty horrific. I'm told that Madrid have taken huge steps to stop diesel transport within the city, and other European cities are looking at the effects of diesel in heavily populated areas. So that's certainly gas and electric, and a combination of all three you can if you want. It's probably a way forward for city travelling, and especially for city travelling.
Yeah.
Because of the pollution effects. But yeah, there you go.
Fantastic. It's been a pleasure speaking with you today. Thank you very much for taking the time.
Thank you.